What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 19th episode of the Off the Dribble podcast with my co-host Aashrith. And today we're gonna be continuing our segment of ranking NBA positions until we finish all like 5. And today we're gonna be doing top 12 small forwards. And then we also have another fun little segment for you guys called "What's More Likely to Happen in the NBA." We have a couple scenarios that we're gonna ask each other, and then get our thoughts on that, and then also you guys can drop your thoughts about what you guys think is more likely to happen between what we're going to say in the comments as well. So yeah, we'll get right into it by starting off with the C tier.
Yeah,
C tier for the small forwards, and Aashrith will start off with number 12.
Yeah, so there's this pretty deep position.
Yeah, it is.
And
I thought this would be like not as deep of a position in the beginning, and then when I was doing my research a little bit, I kind of realized like it's a deeper position.
You start thinking about names that you think might be like power forwards or small forwards, and like it's like I think there's at least one name on here which like I have a lot higher than you might not even have at all.
Mm-hmm.
But at number 12, I have Herb Jones, and I think he's the best defender in the league, best perimeter defender in the league, and I guess in today's NBA where you could value like high volume scoring, like I think Herb Jones' efficiency as like a 3-point shooter that ever since he came out of Alabama to now where I think he's shooting 40% from 3 now.
Yeah.
And like as a Thunder fan, he's the best I've ever seen guarding Shea.
Yeah.
Like Shea can pretty much get whatever he wants against most defenders, but with Herb especially, it's always a challenge. And I think that honestly made me respect him a little more than like most other teams of fans would. But I think one of the like best defenders in the league, all defensive first team. I think.
Yeah,
right?
all defensive first team.
So yeah, I think
12 one of the only non-centers.
I think he's the only non-center.
On all defensive
Yeah.
first team. Yeah. So Herb Jones just basically was like 13th on my list, so barely made the cutoff. But for 12, I have Franz Wagner. Franz has just like always been like a really like solid small forward for the Magic since he's been in the league. He's obviously gets to play with his brother, so probably helps him a little bit. He averaged basically 20 points a game.
Yeah.
50% shooting. His 3-point shooting isn't the best, but like at the same time, like he has time to improve on that. And then 5 rebounds and 3 assists a game, which is like pretty good for what he's doing and how much like he's also pretty tall too. So that gives him size at that position as well. So I just feel like if he can improve his 3-point shooting a little bit and then kind of get that motor on the defensive end, he would kind of go up on the list, but I have him at 12.
I have him a bit higher. Okay. But right here at 11, I have OG Anunoby. And like I was considering between him, Herb, and like I'll say right now, DeMar DeRozan didn't make my list. Yeah. But I was debating between those 3. I think what did it for me with OG is the fact that I think the Knicks were 26-5 when he was in the starting lineup. And a lot of that was his versatility in guarding every position. From he can guard 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And like that along with being like a high volume 3-point shooter, like a lot of this list, especially the bottom, is going to be like 3 and D.
Yeah.
And like who's the best 3 and D players in the league. And like I think like we're going to get to the top of the top and you're going to see names like Kawhi, obviously. They're going to be like the pinnacle, right?
But the best two-way players.
Exactly. But OG's like that's a ceiling. Like a prime Kawhi Leonard is sort of like the best he possibly can be.
Yeah.
So like any players of those modes is obviously going to be really good, and I think at this point in the list, like this is where
perfect for him. Yeah, I also have him at 11 as well. So you basically said everything. Like even when he was on the Raptors, he was always like that really good like glue guy, kind of that like perfect 3 and D guy for the Raptors. And you saw as like Kyle Lowry left and Fred VanVleet left a little bit, you saw his role emerge a little bit more, and he saw that like, offensive production. And then when he went to the Knicks, like again, just fit right into the system, plays his role, and knows what he needs to do. So. Yeah, I have him at 11 as well.
Yeah. 10, this might be low, but I think the playoff run kind of took it away from this player for me. I have Brandon Ingram here at 10. And like watching him go up against like Dort for those 4 games, he couldn't get anything going. Like I like it wasn't necessarily that like he was missing open shots. He actually made most of his open shots. He just couldn't create a basket. And if you're in the NBA today and you can't create a basket against like top level defenders, like I don't necessarily like view you that highly in terms of how like good you are. I also like this is like it's crazy sitting coming from you. I'm sitting on a couch watching him play.
Yeah.
But like I'm doubting like his like motivation, I guess, to play.
Yeah.
Like he always looks like kind of like he's like lackadaisical on the court, and like I guess I want to see him on his own team. Like maybe like the Zion injuries like putting too much on his shoulder. Maybe if he's on a better team, he'd play a lot better. But 25-5 is solid. But like if you're not going to raise your game at all in the playoffs and it's going to go down by that much, then I think you get penalized by being a bit lower on this.
I have him a little bit higher, yeah. But my next player is Mikal Bridges. I just think like kind of like similar player to OG. Just I feel like he's shown a little bit more of his offensive back, especially when he's been in Brooklyn. He's obviously not that number one guy like they tried to make him be, but he could be a very solid like 2B kind of number 3 option in a team, and he can guard 1 through 4 very well. So I have him at 10.
Yeah, I have him at 9. Okay, and like I just think he's a little better than the 3 I named before. Yeah, like a super high 3D. Like maybe he isn't necessarily the player that we saw that second half when he got traded to Brooklyn. That I think he averaged 27 a game. Yeah. But like for the Knicks, he's gonna be perfect as like their second option or third option. Third option. Yeah. So like you said most of the stuff, Mikal. 3D, one of the best in the league.
Yeah. For this is number 9. Yeah. I have Chris Middleton. I think I'm not like a huge fan of Chris Middleton.
I didn't even think of him.
Yeah. He's still like a very great player. He's a multiple time All-Star. He's on a championship Bucks winning team, a great number 2 option, lethal in the mid range. He's shown to give you 40 like in the playoffs. Like when he goes in the playoffs, like he becomes a different animal too. Yeah, like, he goes crazy in the playoffs. And like there's really no weakness in his game. It's just that like he's old and he gets injured a lot. That's like the main problem with him. Yeah. But in my opinion, he's better than every single player I listed so far. Like his offensive bag is so much more skilled than everybody that it just offsets it. He was number 2 on a championship team, so you got to give him the respect that he has to give.
Damn, I didn't even. Interesting. Okay. Here I have Franz Wagner. Okay. Which is a lot. A lot higher than you had him. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm like jaded by the contract, but like 19 points a game. Like even in the Olympics, he was solid. Like he had a 30-point playoff game, didn't he? Like I think it was game 6 against the Cavs. Yeah, he had 30 points. He's been their most consistent player. Yeah, like I guess one critique. We'll talk about Paolo our next episode. Yeah, obviously. But one critique I've had about Paolo is that he's not as consistent. Like he'll have periods where he's like he looks unguardable. But the next game he's like doesn't really want to play. Franz is kind of that sort of like the motor is always there. Yeah, he's always going to give you that 19, and I respect that. And like he only shot 27% from 3, so the 3-point shot needs to be a little better. But like I think with like the 260 million contract he signed, like he has to play it. Like he has to get to that level, right?
So for number 8 for me, I have DeMar, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, because you don't even have DeMar on your list. Yeah, but, like again, kind of like going off of Chris Middleton, like DeMar was still really solid last season. Like he still averaged very close to 24 points per game, like on very efficient shooting. It's just that like he didn't really have a proper team, and that team was always just like you didn't know what was going on in Chicago. And still to this point, you still don't know what's happening because they still have players like Vucevic and Zach LaVine on their team.
Vucevic especially.
Yeah, Bev, I don't know what's going on in there, but he's there and he still produces. He's produced on every single team he's been on. When he went to San Antonio, everyone was like, "Oh, San Antonio is going to be they're not going to be as good as they were before." They were still a playoff team. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was amazing in San Antonio. And like even when whatever other team he goes to, or if he does stay on the Bulls, I don't think he will end up staying on the Bulls. But whatever other team he goes to, he could be a really good number 2 option as well. Like a great mid-range shooter. He doesn't have a great 3-point shot, so like he takes away a lot of spacing. But like he has an offensive back, and I think again like just better than the last 4 people I named on the list.
Fair. This next name, I'm hoping that you think he's a different position. Okay. But I have J-Dub here.
Oh yeah, I think J-Dub's a 4.
Okay. Yeah. He's 6'5", so I don't think he can be a 4. But and like he plays a 3 now for us, especially. But like I think J-Dub's good. I think J-Dub's like he's gonna be so good. 19 points a game. He was 50, 40, 90 for the majority of the season. Then he tailed off free throw percentage wise, but still top 5 in the league in 3-point percentage. Like one of the most efficient mid-range shooters in the league. Like imagine a team with like Shea that like the fourth quarter the ball is in like J-Dub's hands. Like he's like I remember we first started talking about basketball. It was because like you texted me about like J-Dub going crazy in like one of the fourth quarters. and like I was like, wow, like someone else is finally seeing what I'm seeing. Like he's so good, and like I hope it isn't like another James Harden situation where like he goes to a different team and like goes crazy. But like I think I genuinely think he's gonna be like top 2 on this list in like 3-4 years.
Technically, like he plays the 4 for you guys, right?
Because he's played every position from the 1 to the 4 for us.
So Shea, Dort, and then who's in?
So it was
Shea, Dort,
so
Chet,
last season it was Shea, Giddey,
and Giddey would play the point or the 2 or the 3, I guess.
It's all positionless, but we'd have Giddey guard the 4 and J-Dub would guard the 3 and the 2.
Okay.
So I put J-Dub there.
So yeah, I was thinking of J-Dub as a point, power forward. Okay. So I'd have him. I'm definitely gonna have him on my list. Okay. I'm a big J-Dub fan as well. Like I always text Aashrith, like yo, like this guy's gonna be an all-star really soon. Yeah. So this is number 7.
7 for you.
Yeah. For number 7, I have Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
I think Scotty is just like an all-around player. He is a great defender, great rebounder, great slasher to the basket, and like he's a great cutter. That's where he does a lot of his damage, just cutting to the basket and like offensive rebounding and kind of things like that. So he averaged 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's a very every night he can go out there and get you a near triple-double or a triple-double, and he can just basically do everything on the floor, and he does everything. I kind of want to see him have a little bit more of like create your own shot kind of, and be able to get to the mid-range a little bit, be able to get to the rim a little bit more, and improve his 3-point shooting just a tiny bit, because he doesn't take them at like a high clip, and he doesn't shoot them super efficiently. Like 34% is okay.
It's improving year by year.
That's improving year by year.
That's the good part.
Yeah. But I just wanted to see him take that next step of just go from that 20 points per game to maybe like 24, 25, and then still continue getting those rebounds, playmaking, and playing great defense. Yeah,
and I have him at 6.
Yeah.
So like you said, most of it. Most of our list is like, oh, you have him at 7, I have him at 8, like 5, 7, 6. It's like I think he's gonna be so good. Like I'm so glad the Raptors moved on from Siakam and like gave him the team, because surrounding him with like, I think IQ and RJ Barrett are like 2 candidates to like have like MIP type seasons. So surrounding him with like that level of shooting, or along with, I think they have Jakob Poeltl still.
Yeah, and they have Grady Dick.
Yeah, they have Grady like that. Yeah, they have a lot of players that like they can shoot the ball. Give them some space. Yeah. I forgot who they drafted. I feel like it's someone that is pretty solid. I think it's Jacoby Walters.
Yeah, it was Jacoby Walters.
Yeah, he's a solid guard too. So just around, like Masai Ujiri is a really good GM. Yeah. I think Scotty Barnes is, again, like just like J-Dub, like I think he's gonna like ascend once like the top of the top retire. Yeah, like he's gonna be that sort of like 1, 2, 3 range.
Yeah. So for my 6, I have BI.
Okay.
I've always been a big BI fan, because like he's really good at making contested shots, and he's tall and like really lanky and has like long arms, so he's just kind of like that mini Kevin Durant kind of build. Like he's like go up over you in the mid range, and he takes a lot of mid range shots. And if you see him in the regular season, his mid range is cash. Like he's really good during the regular season. Like he's put the team, like the Pelicans, on his back for games, and like has scored like 15 points like in a row. But like I feel like in the playoffs, the reason he underperformed so much is he had so much pressure on him. Just like kind of like you said, like Zion wasn't there. Like obviously, like when Zion had a 40-point game in the play-in, you go into a Thunder series and all the attention is going to be on Zion. But when Zion's not there, like Brandon Ingram's your number 1 option. So you saw him getting so many different looks. Like there would be times like, Lou Dort, he couldn't get anything on Dort one-on-one. But there'd be times like I would see like 2-3 people just completely surrounding him, because at points in the game, the Pelicans had to shoot their way back into the game, and they were missing all their 3-pointers. So the Thunder would just rush him and then make other people try and make those shots, and they weren't making them. So it kind of just looked like he wasn't playing well, even though like I feel like he can't be that number 1. If Zion was playing, I feel like his playoff performance would have been a lot better.
Definitely a solid number 2.
Yeah, definitely a solid number 2. But even like to be a number 2, he's also really inconsistent. That's another thing. You have to, even a number 2 on your team, like the few like games where your number 1 option isn't like shooting efficiently or is injured, you got to consistently be able to give your team 20, 25 points. You can't disappear during those moments. And that's kind of what we saw from him. So I want to see him like carry a team a little bit more, or just be a lot more consistent.
I think that's why I have him on that tier with like Mikhail and Franz, whereas like I think they can be like floor race type number 2s, but I don't really see like a number 1 sort of thing. So like it hurts me to like put this player at 5, because like they deserve to be a 1.
Yeah.
But like Kawhi Leonard, like I just have to like, I think I just have to see him.
Kawhi at 5.
Yeah. Like you can, the I think like 3, 4, and 5, like we're gonna have the same players in like different order. Like, but I just want to see Kawhi play like a full 82 and a full 18.
18, yeah.
Like it's like this season we got 70 odd games in the regular season where he was solid, like really
Very
good.
solid.
And then like that sort of like
playoff thing happened
where he just played too many games in the regular season and just
And
like
he
the playoffs.
didn't,
But then fans aren't going to be satisfied if he plays like 50 games in the regular season and gets like, the playoffs.
Plays all the games.
Exactly. So honestly, at this point, I'd rather see that. But I don't think the Clippers can sustain Kawhi playing less than like 70 games with how bad the roster is. So I think like I'm not in the Stephen A side where like I'm saying Kawhi should retire. But I'm also not in the camp where like, do I think Kawhi is like a tier 1 like difference maker in 2024? Like I don't think so. So I think 5 is fair.
Yeah, for me, I have PG at 5.
Okay.
I just think PG is like, I don't know, like he's like his game is so good, but like sometimes you watch him play and you look at him and you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're not taking the right shots, or like you think you're like the best player in the world, and you're taking the stupidest shots.
Mhm.
And I don't like he's going to the Sixers, so probably he doesn't have to do as much like hero ball kind of, and like with Kawhi getting hurt all the time, so even PG is also very injury prone too. Like that he doesn't stay on the court that much either, even though he was there during the playoff run. But I just feel like as time goes on, he's just going to keep becoming more inefficient, and he's not as athletic as he used to be. And obviously, like when he was on the Clippers, like he wasn't like super athletic. He was more of like a jump shooter and a shot creator. But like I feel like he's gonna get a lot older, and his defensive presence isn't as like menacing as it was before when he was on the Thunder or when he was like in the beginning of the Clippers. Like it takes like you got to have proper knees to be able to do that. Like PG's been hurt way too many times for him to be like one of the best two-way players in the league. So I'm top 5.
Fair. I have PG just a tad bit higher.
Okay.
But right here I have Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I have Jimmy at 4.
Yeah. So I think Jimmy is like one of the players that like you just wish they tried.
Yeah.
Because like he's so good in the playoffs, and like I think the playoff success got to his head a little bit from the bubble, because you see how good he was in the playoffs, and he's like, okay, like if I want to be this good in the playoffs, I have to conserve my energy through the regular season. So then it's like we're not getting the best of him in the regular season. Then they had to end up in a 7 seed again. They'd have to claw their way back again. Like it's like I think fans just want to see like the best of Jimmy Butler, because I think he genuinely could be like much better than like people give him credit for. But like you can't really see that if he played in 30 games a season.
Exactly. It's the same exact reason why I have him at 4. I just want him to play a lot more, try a lot harder during the regular season, and still keep that momentum going in the playoffs. At number 3, I have Kawhi. Kawhi, like the regular season, he was amazing, and then playoffs, he didn't play. But like, I don't know, like injuries, like being injured is a part of the game, but I feel like Kawhi overall gets way too much hate for being injured, especially for how much he's done for like the teams he's been on. Like he literally went to a team for 1 year, won the championship, and then left.
Most improbable chip to Toronto chip.
Like you have to be like one of the like top 3 players in the league to be able to do that, and he definitely it was that year. And it's not like Kawhi's still really good on defense. Like he could still stay with some of the best in the league. His mid range is still like butter. It's so smooth. Like I just want him to maybe like I don't think 50 games or 70. I think like between the 60-65 range. If he could stay between there during the regular season and play like in a series, like say it's a 6-game series, he's out for 1 game. He's out for game 2. Say they won game 1, and then you have to rest him for game 2 because he has knee soreness. I rest him for game 2. He plays the other 5 games of the series.
But see what we're talking about? We're talking about resting in the playoffs.
But like
I know it's just tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, like my next Paul George.
Yeah.
And like I group these like those 3 as like injury prone stars, where it's like you can kind of put them in any order, and I think it's fine. I just think PG's games like is going to age the best. Like he had a super underrated regular season this season. He shot a career high from the field and from 3.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of games like he was their only hope. Like there I forgot what regular season game it was where I think he had like 39. He like the corner 3 to win the game.
Yeah.
And he's a lot better than like people give him credit for too. I don't like giving him credit as a Thunder fan. Like he kind of did us a little wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, did he really though? He got a Shea, so I guess he didn't really do us that wrong. But I just think his game's gonna age the best. I don't really see a world where like Kawhi like can carry this Clippers team, I don't think Jimmy's gonna suddenly just start trying.
Mhm.
I think PG's gonna have the best chance to advance in the playoffs. So I think if we're projecting for this next season, I think PG being the best of those three is like not too outlandish of a take. But yeah,
I think our number 2 and 1 is probably the same.
the exact
Tatum, LeBron.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, like, even though he hasn't played in USA, like, he gets the hate. Like, when he's on the Celtics, he's their best player. Like, it's so obvious. Like, he'll carry them offensively, and he can be a really, really good defender when he needs to be. And also, he showed you how good of a playmaker he was during the finals. Like, he doesn't.
He should have won Finals MVP.
But I also really much thought so. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't. So I have him at 2.
I have him at 2 as well. It's really tempting at the Olympics to put him lower.
Yeah.
If you look at like the people below him though, they either choke worse than him or like they just don't have the resume.
Exactly.
So like you can't put him lower than 2.
Yeah.
And like realistically, he should be 1 at this point. But our number 1 is a freak.
LeBron.
Like LeBron's a freak in nature. Like it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Like we're still talking about this guy at 40.
It's crazy.
Like one of my favorite like television segments of all time is Colin Cowherd is on the Herd, right?
Yeah.
And like it was right when Ben Simmons got drafted, and he was like, "LeBron, you can retire today if you want to. We got Ben Simmons now, and now Ben Simmons basically out of the league is a 60 overall on 2K.
Yeah.
But LeBron's still the best small forward in the
Yeah.
league. It's so crazy. Best player in the Olympics MVP.
Yep.
If you look at LeBron's 3 like decades of his career, he's had 3 Hall of Fame careers.
Basically, yep.
Like since 2020, I think he's a 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 1-time champion, now 1-time gold medalist, 1-time MVP. That's a Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame career.
When he was on the Heat, he won 2 chips.
Yeah, best player of all time.
Best player of all time. When he was on the Cavs when he was young, he still was amazing.
Yeah, he got to the finals. He was like first team All-NBA. And also one more like fun thing about LeBron before we close the segment off, but like LeBron's the only player ever to play all 5 positions and have it registered on like
really?
Basketball Reference. Yeah,
I did not know that.
His rookie season is shooting guard.
Oh wow.
Small forward, power forward. 2020 he was a center.
Huh?
And then the year after that he's a point guard.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
It's so nuts.
LeBron is the center. Is wild.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's those are our lists. We're gonna have top 12 point guard power forwards for you guys next week.
Yeah.
And our next segment is gonna be the what's more likely to happen in the NBA. So we have a couple different like scenarios that I think are pretty interesting and cool. So we're gonna do like 2 or 3 of them and just like kind of talk about them a little bit. One of them that I wanted to ask you is what's more likely to happen: the Celtics making the finals, or literally anybody else in the East making the finals?
See, I don't remember the last time we had like a repeat finalist back to back before the Warriors and the Cavs. I don't think it's been there for the last like 6 years. So it's hard for me to see a situation where like this, like the Celtics do lose in the East.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if they can buck the trend and like be the team that like does the like goes back to back. So I guess a better question that would answer this is like, if it's anyone else in the East, like who would it be?
Yeah.
And I think you have to go with the Knicks or the Sixers, right?
I think it's the Sixers, honestly. I don't think the Knicks have the star power, in my opinion, like to compete with the Sixers. Like you have Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George in the same team. Like,
but that's injury prone and Maxey, so
yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. But just on paper, looking at it, I think it's the Sixers are going to give them the toughest battle in that sense.
I agree.
And even the Sixers, like role players, are also still very solid. They still have like Kelly Oubre, which is very solid. They draft
Jared McCain,
amazing pickup. Nadim Bona, he's also very good. Backup center to Joel. Who else do they have on their bench? Do they keep D'Anthony Melton?
No, I think he went to the Warriors.
He did go to the Warriors, yeah.
But they have Andre Drummond.
A
good rebounder off the bench.
Yeah, great rebounder off the bench.
They have other pieces too, which we're just forgetting about.
I really love the Kelly Oubre piece as well. That's re-signing him and keeping him is great for them.
Losing Tobias Harris is always good too.
Yeah, as well. Yep. But yeah, I think it's. I don't think the South. I have a feeling that. I don't know. I think like someone either. I feel like Jaylen Brown isn't going to be as good as he was last season. Like he kind of took his game to another level, and I don't know. When you have so much star power on a team, you have to keep that level of consistency, and it's hard, especially when Tatum is your superstar. Like, you know he's going to get his 25, 26 points per game during the regular season. So I'm feeling like also Derek White, like he had probably the best season he's ever had. He has to kind of do the same exact thing for them to do it again. Like it's
It's
gonna
a little
be
mix of both.
yeah.
You're also hoping Porzingis stays healthy for the first time.
Exactly.
And
And Porzingis was he played probably some of the best basketball he ever played during the regular season too.
Exactly.
Like before until he left the Knicks.
Even the finals.
Yeah. So
I
like
don't know.
you're kind of banking on like high level production once again for a second straight season in a row. Like, can you really do that? I don't know.
What's your final answer?
I think the Celtics are more. I think it is more likely that they do make the finals.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'll take anyone else in the East.
Okay.
But I think the reason I proposed the segment was for the first question, so I'll just bring that up really quickly.
Mhm.
LA edition. So, do we think the Clippers make the playoffs as a top 6 seed is more likely, or the Lakers winning the championship?
No, I think the Clippers making the playoffs as a top 6 seed is more likely because, like the Lakers are not winning.
I don't know, bro.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. There's so many teams in the West that are constructed so much better than they are from top to bottom. Like the top four, the Lakers they're not even like solidified a top 4 team in the West. And
I don't think the Clippers are solidified a top 8 team in
I don't
the
know,
West.
but like who knows? Like we said, if Kawhi does have his last fully healthy season, you never know. Like it's not like they have like a bunch of bums on their team. You saw Derrick Jones Jr. progress a little bit. Like he'll be a great 3-and-D role player. Kawhi's obviously your number 1. You don't really have like a solidified number 2, I guess per se. Who would you call the number 2 on the Clippers? Harden. Okay, yeah. So like you have Harden as your number 2.
I don't know who the number 3 is though.
Yeah, that's I think
KPJ.
I mean, he balls out when he plays.
Yeah, I guess,
but
man.
I don't really see the Lakers are gonna have to beat the Nuggets. They're gonna have to go to the Thunder at some point if they want to get to the championship. They're gonna either have to go to the Timberwolves at one point if they want to go to the chip. Grizzlies are gonna be a tough test in the West. Like they have a lot of teams that are already solidified, like really good teams and have like really good chemistry already.
I'll take the Lakers.
Okay.
And I think it's more so like how low I am on the Clippers roster.
Okay.
Like I just don't see a way where they could be a top 6 seed. Like if like I'm really trying to picture who like the top. I think like at worst the 6th seed is gonna be like the Pelicans, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're thinking like Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Mavs, Grizzlies, Pelicans,
you
right?
never know, bro. The Pelicans somehow end up falling off during the regular season at one point or the other.
Sure, but I can even name like I'll take the Lakers, I'll take the Suns, I'll take the Warriors, I'll take the Kings. Like I'll take all these teams over the Clippers, and like it's not. I don't even think it's particularly close except for like the Kings.
Who's on the Warriors? Like other than Buddy Hield?
I'll take Steph and Draymond. I'll take Steph at this point over Kawhi. Like
That's like one player. I'm looking at like if you really look
who else on the Clippers roster?
They have who else on the team?
It's like the roster that Braun took to the finals in 08, in 2018, bro. Like
it's not that bad. Let's check.
I don't think Derrick Jones Jr. is that good. I think Kevin Porter Jr. They have Zubox. They have Chris Dunn. Kai Jones.
Right, they still have Terrence Mann and Norman Powell, which are 2 very solid.
Yeah, bro. We're not talking about Amir Coffee.
Yeah, I still don't think that means you're banking on D'Lo being your 3rd option.
No, I'm banking on Braun. Like realistically, but I'm more so banking on like both of these, in my opinion, are like 0.01%. But like, which one do I like?
I think it's more, in my opinion, it's more likely that the Warriors somehow fall apart during this next season. That the Pelicans, it's very likely that they even with how good the team is, they could end up falling apart too.
What if the Lakers trade for Trae Young?
That's not gonna happen. Like,
the Clippers making the playoffs gonna happen.
Well, like one of the Lakers ever traded for someone in the past 4 seasons.
What do you mean?
The past 3 seasons.
They traded for us.
Okay, that's not pretty crazy. I'm talking about when they traded for an All-Star in the past 4 seasons since AD.
They thought they were trading for us.
They thought they were getting an All-Star in D'Lo. Look what happened.
Yeah,
doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And Trey, bro, like on the Lakers is crazy. I don't see Trey. Trey on the Lakers wouldn't be a good fit either. Like
I don't think it will either. But like, you don't think? Actually, maybe I'm probably just like Olympic fever.
Yeah,
but
I think yeah. I don't know. LeBron, 40 years old, carrying a injury-prone, like injury-riddled team to the playoffs, to the finals, to a championship, winning the championship. He could take them to that championship.
What if I said?
Maybe he could take them
What
to
if
the finals?
What if I said conference finals? Would your
Well,
pick change?
Yeah, conference finals. Yeah, because they made the conference finals before. Like
Yeah.
they made the conference finals like 2 years ago. So like I could see that happening, but winning a chip, like no chance. At that time, they're gonna have to beat the Celtics. Like nope. My last one that I think would be a really good one to ask is what's more likely to happen? Cade Cunningham making his first All-Star appearance or Ant winning his first MVP?
I like this one too, but I think no disrespect to Ant.
Yeah.
I just think only because of how like guardless the East is.
Yeah.
I think Cade's more likely to make his first All-Star appearance.
So there'd be like 6 guards that make the.
Yeah, we can run through it.
So you have Trey.
You have Tyrese.
Jaylen Brown, Tyrese.
Jaylen Brown, Tyrese. You have both Tyreses.
Oh yeah, Tyrese Maxey, yeah. PG would come under.
That would be a forward.
Oh, he would be okay. Well, it's more like or who else is there on? You think Dame will somehow end up making it?
Cade's better than Dame.
Yeah, but Dame's gonna somehow end up making it. You know, Dame's gonna somehow end up making it.
I know. There's one more spot. Yeah, I think Cade's got it. I'm not gonna lie.
Last spot.
Yeah.
Unless LaMelo does, you never know.
Yeah, but that's like projection. Like I think Cade.
That last spot is there to take. That last spot is very open in my opinion. Like
if this question was to be, will Cade make 3 All-Star appearances in the next like 5 seasons versus Ant winning an MVP in the next 5 seasons? I'd take Ant.
Yeah, I also think it's more likely Cade makes an All-Star.
Yeah,
just because also like you have players already that I feel like the NBA at this point, like with MVP, it's also a tiny bit biased in my opinion. Like
100%
from like the previous year before, if like a player was kind of like robbed from it or not robbed from it, but like they were deserved of it and they didn't get it.
They're gonna get
it next season.
That's why I think Shea might have a small chance to win it next season.
That's why I have Luka.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's finally like you gave 2 to Jokic.
Yeah.
Give Luka finally his one. Like he made the finals last season.
Yeah.
Like, it's give him one.
Yeah.
So and then after that, like Shea. And then after Shea, like who knows? Jokic is still gonna be young. Jokic could go back and win MVP. Like Ant's gonna have it's tough. Maybe top 3 in MVP voting. I could top 3, top 5. I could see because he finished 7th last season.
Yeah.
And going from 7th to 3, like all he has to do is just take that a little bit bigger step offensively and just be a lot more consistent, like we want to see out of him. And he's only 23. So
if you look at MVP awards in general, like you never see a player go from like no chance to winning it to just winning it. Yeah. They're always like it's
always a progression from season to season to season.
Like Shea and Luka are kind of similar, where I think Luka's been like top 5 last 4 years. Yeah. But Shea 2 years ago was 5th.
Yeah.
Then last season was 2nd.
Yeah.
So you're kind of seeing that sort of like he's an established name. Like people in the media are like, oh, Shea should have won. Yeah. That's like enough.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be in that sort of thing.
That now, yeah.
Yeah, where it's gonna be like people are gonna be like, yeah, like the Timberwolves might be the 1 seed, and it's like, oh, like Ant might win it. Yeah. But then they won't give it to him.
They won't give it to him. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the season after, he'd be like, oh, like we didn't give it this year, we'll give it to next year.
The only way I think the Mavs that Luka won't get it this year is if like as long as he averages like 27, like 8 and higher, and they're a 4th seed or higher, they'll give it to him. But if he's like a 5th seed or lower, if he's like a 5th seed and he's averaging that, I don't think he's gonna get it. And if the Thunder end up becoming the 1 seed, or like the Wolves end up becoming the 1 seed, or like I don't know, like the Nuggets become the 1 seed, like I don't know, maybe Jokic will get 3, bro. Who knows?
Jokic already has 3, he might get 4.
Oh yeah, he already has 3. He might get 4.
Yeah.
Maybe Embiid might win a second one. Like you never know. Like Embiid was on a pit.
Embiid would have won it.
Yeah.
He has already 37 a game.
36 and a half. Like it's insane. So yeah, that's but yeah, again, like making All-Star, like it's pretty doable. Like it doesn't like I feel like for All-Stars, team success matters when it comes to how many All-Stars you have from your team. But if it's just 1 All-Star from a team, like it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're just the best player and
And I don't think the Pistons are going to be the worst team in
the league. I don't think
they'll be like between that sort of like 9 and like 12 range in the East.
I think they'll be like I'd like that. I say more of like that 11, 13.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But yeah. So that was our last segment of today's episode. I feel like this was actually like a really fun and interesting one. So we're gonna keep like every other episode or so, just keep like throwing in some of these what's more likely to happen. Drop in the comments what you guys think is more likely to happen, if the Celtics are gonna win the finals, or if anybody else would, or if the Lakers would win the chip before, or if the Clippers would make a top 6 seed, or if Cade would make an All-Star game, or if Ant would win an MVP first. So drop your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, stay tuned for another episode that we'll be doing this weekend, either Saturday, Sunday. It's gonna be our first episode that we're gonna be doing away from each other, so you're gonna see both of us in different places.
Yeah.
So,
but we still got the video episodes coming.
Yeah, we still got the video episodes coming, rolling and everything. So don't worry, that'll still be coming out. And also check us out on TikTok as well. We launched a TikTok just a couple days ago, so search up Off the Dribble if you wanted to see some short TikTok and clips of us talking. And yeah, stay tuned and peace.
Peace.